going on, guys? My name is Emmett, and this episode is of the buck that we called Big Boy. Big Boy was hands down our #1 hit lister in 2017, and we had multiple encounters with him throughout the year in person, and as well as over hundreds of trail cam pictures of him. So this buck was definitely on our mind throughout the year, just like any other hunter. That one buck that keeps you up at night, that one buck that you're after all year, that one buck that you just really want to get. This is him for us. This is Big Boy, and the story starts now. So in 2016, my dad purchased his first piece of property. When July hit, we wanted to get our first food plot in ever. So we planted turnips and brassica. Once we got the food plot in, then it all came down to praying for rain, and thankfully we got just enough. So the food plot wasn't the only job. When my dad purchased this piece of property, it was previously owned by another hunter who put up some Taj Mahal blind over this inner secluded field. The only problem is when it goes unattended for so long, things start to move in and take it as their own. So we had this bunch of these beetle bees, or whatever they were, that made a huge nest on the side of the window to the blind. I don't know if I'm gonna get here. Oh, that's a good one. That was a good one. There you go. That was a good one. Now you're really stirring up the pot.
It penetrated through the side.
Throughout the summer, we were collecting pictures, and it was clear. The biggest buck that we had on camera over the summer was this buck that was continually showing up on our property, and we decided to name him Big Boy. He was just a nice tall 10 with a couple kickers on his G2, and he definitely had our interest. So the very first day of the youth season, we decided to go set up on a spot where we had a transition area from that interior food plot to where the deer were going to bed. And we had pictures of Big Boy moving through there, sometimes at daylight, with a lot of other bucks, and we wanted to get Easton his first buck. We weren't targeting Big Boy, but we wanted to see a buck and maybe get an opportunity at a nice buck, especially for it being Easton's first deer.
Hey, come on, it's time to go. You ready to go? Are you? Huh? Come on, let's go.
Let's go time, buddy.
Keep yelling in bed, buddy.
Ready to rock and roll? It's the opening day of the youth season here in Iowa. I'm with my little brother Easton. He's 9 years old. We're using a muzzleloader. We're on our property here in Van Buren County, and the biggest buck that we had on camera is the second one to step out. Well, the outcome was disappointing. The experience was awesome. We're here with Gary. Gary came from Pennsylvania. What a fun experience. Man, that's just how you want to start out the season. Too bad we couldn't build a tag, but it's early. We got a lot of time left. What do you want to say to the camera after that? Nothing. He's disappointed. Okay. You're disappointed. Yeah. Oh well. Like seriously, just popped out of the timber. Yeah, that was one. Yeah. I don't know.
Just wanted to take a look.
That's one of the, like Gary said, I mean, at least me being my age, that's gonna be one I'm not gonna sleep right about.
It's a good experience.
Try it.
Alright, I think this one's it. Yeah, there he is, with him right there. I'm trying to get Easton to see him in the scope, and Easton's having trouble with it now.
I'd rather him just go in the cornfield.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Good experience, huh? Maybe we'll see him again.
Look, there's the camera.
Yeah. Did you get excited?
Yeah.
Good.
That's
All right.
your fault, Dad. just shot my first deer.
What a beast. Hey.
And towards the end of archery season, after the rut, we had our second encounter with Big Boy. Me and Easton were riding the UTV around the property, and it was like November 20-something. And I look up out in the field and I see 3 does walking around. And what do you know? Big Boy was sitting there tending all 3 of them, and it was good to see that he had made it through that portion of the season, because there was only a few days left in the archery season. These bucks were starting to die down from the rut, and now all we had to hope for was that he made it through shotgun season.
Oh, that's a big one. Jeez, it's big.
You know who that is, Easton?
The big guy that I missed.
Yep. Well, shotgun season passed, and the calendar finally hit December 18th, the opening day of late season muzzleloader in Iowa. So we packed up and headed down to southern Iowa once I got done with my finals. First thing we did when we got there was I went around and checked all the cameras. Now the good news is we checked the cameras, and Big Boy made it through. We had pictures of him on December 18th. The weather was pretty warm, and this time of year, if the weather's warm, these deer sometimes won't want to get up and move as much as they will when it's cold, because they're not forced to. So we were debating on making a move or not, but after checking the cameras and seeing the amount of time that Big Boy was on his feet during daylight hours on our food plot, it really made it clear that it was time to make a move. So that's exactly what we did. So on December 21st, Dad headed in, and like clockwork, the deer just piled into the food plot.
Nice next year. They're just hammering those turnips. He's a good looking buck.
So on December 22nd, Dad decides to head into the food plot for a second day in a row. And what do you know? 3 o'clock, 2 hours before dark, no deer on the food plot, and here comes Big Boy. And man, did he put on a show.
Well, we just got down out of the stand. Not much of a tracking job here. Oh, why don't we check him out? Oh man, what a magnificent buck. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, that's a good Iowa whitetail right there. Oh, we worked hard for him. Yes, we did. He has a kicker there. So excited to shoot a buck like this. First buck, late season off the farm. Great Iowa buck.
I just got back from where I was hunting down in Des Moines County, and we're about to go check this bad boy out. I can't wait to see him up in person. I've had 2 encounters with him this year. One with my little brother, and then another time I saw him from the road. And he's a beautiful buck. We have probably over 100 trail cam pics of him, and I just can't wait to see him in person. What do you have to say about it, Dad?
Yeah, he's a good buck. A lot of hard work put into the property this year as far as putting in food plots and just preparing and trying to be patient and letting some of the young ones grow old. This may be one that we'll look at and say, you know, maybe another year, but I think all the hard work we put in, I think this is a good buck to take.
Off to go see him.
This other kicker, I think, broke off right here, and then he rubbed it. See how it's all muddied up?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't have good brow.
About 30 yards behind us, and we found Droopy about 20 yards behind Dad right now.
Nice looking deer.
That is freaking... He is a brute. Perfect night. Perfect shot. Hell of a buck. Can't be disappointed with that one.
It's a good deer.
Just look at that. Big buck down. So even though I was out hunting and didn't get to experience this hunt in person, this is undoubtedly a hunt that I will never forget. Between the 200 trail camera pictures, the 2 encounters I personally had with him, this buck just had my mind was wrapped around this buck the entire year. And with everything with the new property and showing how hard work pays off, it really was exciting to see my dad harvest the buck that we were after all year. So if there's anything to take away from this episode, it's hunting a food source during the late season is key to success. I'm not saying that if you're not hunting a food source that you're not going to be successful, but if you want to be successful year after year after year, you have to continually hunt a food source during the late season. These deer are solely focused on food at that time of year, food and safety. And so while their senses are keen to danger, especially this time of year after you're pressured throughout the year, you got to go to the one thing that they're going to be susceptible to, and that's food. I know that not everybody has the opportunity to plant food plots, but that does not mean that you can't hunt a food source. There's plenty of food sources on public land, there's plenty of food sources on private land, and while it might not be a food plot, between cut corn, cut beans, locust pods, acorns in the early part of the season, there's plenty of food for those deer to be hitting, and if you're hunting the right food source at the right time of year, good things are bound to come your way. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button below and go visit our website www.extremeelementoutdoors.com to see more videos. Also go follow us on social media, and please make sure to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video and stay tuned for more.